I once avoided a 5-minute conversation for months, and it cost me thousands. That's what happens when your ego leads your decision making. Welcome to the Living Inside Out podcast. I'm your host, Toks Aruture, entrepreneur with 20 years of experience, founder of The Baby Cut Shop, a luxury nursery furniture brand and design studio in Chelsea, London. I also founded The Revealery, an invitation-only exclusive furniture company. I'm a TEDx speaker and a mindset coach. This podcast is about embracing mindset shifts through life, business, and faith. Each week, we dive beneath the surface to uncover and challenge the limiting beliefs that hold us back, exploring how to live from the inside out. I believe God has equipped us with the resources to live the life we truly desire. So, if you're ready to use your natural gifts and step into your best self, let's get started. Hey, how are you doing, my friend? I trust that you are well, and if you're listening to this almost in real time, welcome to the month of February. I've heard all kinds of things about January. Almost every year, people say January is the longest month of the year, and there are memes and jokes about it. But this year has got to be the one that everybody, I don't know whether it's more people realizing that it can feel quite long and drawn out, perhaps because of the holidays and so on. But not only does it feel long, but it feels tough. A lot of people have really moaned about this, and I was speaking to one of my boys about it, and he said, Mom, it's just been a really tough month. So we talked about why we think it's tough and why everybody seems to think so. And here's our conclusion. It's the anticlimax, because we get to the end of 2024 relieved that the year has ended. Many people, again, struggled throughout 2024. And then the new year comes with hopes and dreams and excitement. And, you've also had Christmas and the festivities. And then you're expectant, you set your goals, and there's a collective confidence that we have in the world, and a collective sense of expectation that things have picked up and this year is going to be great. There's a lot of positivity in the new year, a lot. And then, boom, nothing. It just feels like a long, drawn out month that's all of our hopes and dreams that we were expecting seem to have been dashed. And really all that it is if you don't change the way you think, you're not going to have new results just because we're in the new year and we are all in an incubator of positivity and motivation. That's not going to happen. It all begins with your thoughts. And on that note, I was going to announce this I'll wait till the end of the episode and I will announce something exciting that I'm working on. So I think that's what it is where our expectations are dashed, and there is the anticlimax of the celebration, and all of the spending in the month of December catches up with you in January. And then if you're in the Western hemisphere, you're also dealing with winter. So it just feels like all the things that could irritate or make you feel like you're lacking in one way or the other just comes together. And of course, it's dark as well. So lots of different things. But hey, guess what? You survived it. And we're in February. I love the month of February because I just say, hey, it's the last freezing cold month of the year. Well, it's not the last one, but it starts to get warmer from March. So I'm excited about that. I'm excited about all that we have been blessed with ahead of time for the year of 2025. Please don't let one bad month define the rest of your year. It's going to be a great year. It's already been blessed, and you have everything you need to excel this year. So today I want to talk about entrepreneurship, and specifically 3 things I wish I had known about entrepreneurship. I was going to title it 3 Mistakes I Made or something along those lines, but I'm being intentional about my language and how I frame my words because I want it to be positive. So lessons in entrepreneurship, what I wish I knew sooner. And we're going to talk about 3 things. The first one is taking things personally. I used to take things personally, and that was just, such a weight on me. When I started my business in the UK, I started it from rock bottom. When I say from rock bottom, I don't mean that I started with nothing or I started from scratch. I started from below ground level because we had just lost everything and relocated back to the United Kingdom from the US after we had spent a short while there building a new life, and we were already immersed in our new life and we were thriving and everything was perfect. And then we lost everything, came back to England empty-handed, and I came back pregnant with my 4th son, who is just such a blessing and was a blessing then to us and is a blessing to us now. If you're not familiar with my story, I did an amazing TED talk on it and you want to listen to it. It's called The Superpower of Authentic Storytelling. You can find it on TED's website or you can find it on YouTube. If you just Google my name or the title on YouTube, you'll find it. So I'm back in the UK now, and after dealing with all of the emotions of loss and the grief and everything, and I finally get to a place where I can get up and start a business, I wouldn't say that I was now okay and happy and excited and inspired, but I was moved enough and inspired enough to be able to start a new business. The first thing I noticed about myself was giving a negative meaning to situations that didn't go the way I wanted. For example, when proposing to a company that I wanted to sell their products and they say no, I would feel the sting and then allow that sting to guide my next move. If you listened to last week's episode 115, I shared 5 things to avoid drawing inspiration from, and pain was one of them. So in that season, my early days it's not entrepreneurship, but my early days of starting my business in the UK, I allowed pain to guide me. I recall one particular day when I attended a trade show, I'd gone from crying every day to finally getting myself up, building a website and starting a new business. I was proud of myself. Things were far from perfect, but at least it was moving in the right direction. And one thing that I've learned over the years is the power of movement. Whether you are uncertain or fearful or discouraged, whatever negative emotion you're feeling that is paralyzing, you just take one step in the right direction. Just one step makes a massive difference. So here I was at the trade show and I'm walking around. I've now accepted that my reality is different from what I preferred. I accepted that I was in a different market as well because the US and the UK are completely different. The aesthetics and creativity and even the ease of doing business is on a high in the United States, but in the United Kingdom, completely different. So I'm here and I'm thinking, I'm just going to replicate what I did in the US. I'm going to find beautiful luxury pieces to sell here and I'm just going to replicate it and it's going to be fine. Wrong. Taste is different. Like I said, the creativity is different. The Brits tend to color within the lines. Like they don't break boundaries. They're not keen on breaking boundaries or doing things differently. So I'm walking around the trade show. I've accepted that I've got to view things from a different filter from where I was coming from. I saw these decorative items. There were plaques with cute sayings on them. And, approached the supplier and said, I would love to sell your products. And she says, absolutely. And she gave me the price list. Oh my goodness, I have so many stories. She gave me the price list and I took it on and went on and, put the products on the website. Then I called her. I think we got an order and I called her and I said, we got this order, very excited. And she goes onto my website and sees the pictures and she flips out. She calls me. She's over the phone and she's saying to me, why have you got my pictures on your website? I said, well, you gave me the authority to sell your products. Yeah, but I paid a lot of money to have those pictures taken. You go take your pictures. And I was like, how does that work? That I'm selling your products, but you don't want to give me the resources to sell it with, like no sales material. What am I supposed to do? And I remember just taking the things off the website and crying, not because I had to take them down, but it just felt like yet another wall that I had hit. But more than that, I took it so personally, and I could hear her voice just reverberating in my mind and just, oh, I really did take it personally to the point where I cried. So that's one mistake I made and a lesson that I want to share with you today. Don't take rejection or don't take anything personally in business. There's a very famous quote that says, it's not personal. It's just business. And that is true. Business isn't personal. There is a personal aspect to it, which I'm going to come on to in a second, but it's not personal. If you receive rejection, you're not being rejected. Remember that the business owner or whoever it is you're doing business with, or, whatever your stakeholders are, everyone is in it for their own benefit, just like you're in business to make money. So they're not there. No one's here to help you feel good about yourself. No one's here to help you solve your problem. People come to you because they've got a problem that needs solving, and they see the solution in you, or they do business with you because they think there's going to be a benefit to them. There's absolutely nothing wrong or immoral about it. This principle also applies when it comes to customers. I obviously over the years, we thankfully have got 5-star ratings on Google. Most of our customers, I would say 99.999 of our customers, have never had an issue with us. However, there have been the odd maybe 2 or 3 in my business history that I know. 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, I would say 3. 3 in the history of running my business that I would say, that stick out in my mind, where we dropped the ball or things didn't go the way that it should, or they were unhappy about something. And that kept me up at night because I took it personally. Not that I was mad at them, obviously, but it felt as though their anger was towards me, not towards the business. But in reality, they don't know me and they don't care about me. None of this is about me. All of it is about the business. So don't take it personally. The second lesson I learned is not to hide my identity. So when I started out in business, like I met in the UK, it's funny because, well, I did a little bit of it in the US as well, but it wasn't so bad because the US, like I said, is just so super friendly to small businesses. And I was in the South, where people are just generally warm and kind and friendly. So I had a completely different experience in Atlanta. Here in the UK, the British culture is different. People are not about to hug you because they like your name, or you have an accent. Like, it's just a different culture. So I hid my identity for a number of reasons. One, I didn't want to be vulnerable. I had already suffered enough emotionally from my personal experience of losing everything. I wasn't about to expose my heart to more damage, so I hid behind the business. The second reason is the subject of racism and color. And I even though I didn't experience that in the US, interestingly enough, when I came to England, the rhetoric and the experiences of people of color, Black women like me, was very much, race was at the center of it. And the general feeling was, hide your face if you're a Black person, otherwise people will not want to do business with you. And I took that on, and I truly believed it. And I know that to a great extent that is true, but I think that different industries and different types of businesses are affected more than others. I believe that excellence in business, whether it's your product or your service, elevates your brand to a point where it's the brand that they see, which is what people are coming for. People are not coming to you. They're coming for what they want. And if you're able to present what they want in an excellent manner, that's what they're after. My example of that is Oprah Winfrey. Oprah has broken barriers. and boundaries because of the excellence and the beauty of how she has presented her product. Authenticity is one of those really overused words, but incredibly powerful concept, because what authenticity is living as yourself. And I believe that your gift, your God-given gift in its purest form, cannot be rejected by anyone. Your natural gift, when it's not embellished with insecurities and uncertainties and ifs and whats and maybes, is highly, highly desirable. And Oprah Winfrey is an example. Barack Obama is another. And yes, I know these are very high profile names and they may sound like the odd one out or the different, the oddity. But I believe that if your product or your service is presented in its purest form in the most excellent manner, people will purchase from you. So I hid my identity. I wouldn't show my face on, Twitter or Facebook or anything like that. I also erroneously believed that my clients wanted to do business with a big company. So that was another reason I hid my face, because I didn't want them to know, hey, it's just this one girl running this company that looks really good on the outside. I hid that from them, and I put this whole, I became we, and all of that. And I would have this imagination of I'm sitting in an office overlooking, I don't know, the Potomac River or somewhere, and I, just killing it out there in a boardroom, which is a great vision to have, by the way, because I was operating from my future, not from my present. But I was also doing it because I didn't want people to know me as the business owner. I'm going to leave that part to you to decide how you want to present yourself as an entrepreneur. Whatever you choose to do, I don't think there is a wrong or right way, but this was wrong for me because my personality and my gift come as a package, you see, and everyone is different. So I was supposed to present myself as me. The next lesson is on staffing and leadership. I didn't see this one coming. When you have a goal in mind, you are standing at the beginning, certain, confident, excited. You're holding the start in your hands. And then the end of it, the picture of completion and excellence and what you have dreamed of is vividly displayed in your mind or vividly captured in your mind, but you don't see the middle. Well, I didn't see the middle. I didn't see what going from being a solopreneur to leading a team looked like. I saw the start alone and I saw the end, a room full of people, but I did not think of the middle. One of the most limiting traits an entrepreneur can have is being a people pleaser, because you're going to want to be liked more than wanting to lead. And I found myself in that situation. As my team began to grow, I initially was just myself, and then I hired the lovely Joanne, who is still a wonderful friend to me today. And it was Joanne and I for years. And then later was Liz and I. Liz, another wonderful friend. She and I together for years until it was time to expand our team. And so I went from being almost a solopreneur to leading a team of, I think it was 5 people at our peak. I wasn't prepared for that transition. I didn't know what it looked like. And my people-pleasing tendencies was at the forefront of it all, because it was important that my office was not a place where conflict was found. It was important that the atmosphere was supportive and warm and everyone liked each other and there was no arguing and there was no fighting. And I certainly did not want to be not liked by anyone. Means then that much of my decision making was being filtered by this trait of wanting to be liked. It means that when it was time to fire a particular member of staff, I held back, and it cost me and cost the company money. You've got to be mindful of those personality traits that could trip you up or cost you as an entrepreneur. The other thing in staffing I did was hire based on past employers instead of actual ability. So there was this one member of staff who had worked for a company and resume looked impressive. It was in an area that I wasn't particularly strong in because that's what you do. You hire your weaknesses, and very quickly found that she wasn't really a great fit for the company because she'd come from somewhere, quite large and where there was a lot of, she'd come from a mass market background and we're not mass market. So it was difficult to communicate what we wanted to her because I automatically assumed that she knew. It was, hey, you've come from this company. You should know what we do. And again, that's part of the whole thing of not recognizing your own power, not admitting just how amazing you are as a person, or recognizing and celebrating the strengths of your business. Because if you did that frequently, if I did that frequently, then I wouldn't have fallen into that trap. I would not be comparing myself to some other big company and assuming that their staff was all I needed, or their ex-employee was all I needed. Holding on to staff too long out of loyalty cost me as well. There was someone I was meant to fire let me not say fire, it sounds very harsh, but I was supposed to let them go, but I didn't because they were loyal and they were nice and it cost us. So that's another mistake. And there was also avoiding difficult conversations. Oof. That's a hard one. I don't actually like difficult conversations anyway, so that followed me into the business world. And I've since learned from all of these mistakes. I would share anything that I have experienced and I have grown from. So I've grown from these, and some of them I'm still learning, but I would never put out something I'm still uncertain about because there's got to be a lesson. So I hope these have helped. If you are an entrepreneur or you're thinking of branching out on your own, understand that the journey is full of lessons. Most of them are learned the hard way. But the sooner you shift from taking things personally and from hiding your true self and from leading with emotion instead of clarity and leading from your vision, the smoother your journey will be. I cannot promise a bump-free ride. I don't think that exists because it's a unique journey. Every business person has their own path. Your personality comes into play. Your ideas show up. The nature of the business has a personality of its own. So it's very hard to predict what your journey will be like, but you can be certain that there will be bumps on the road. But if you're open to learning from your mistakes and you're open to being authentic and showing up as yourself, I think that it would be an easier journey than if you fought your way through. If you have made any of these mistakes before, know that you're not alone. What matters is that you learn, you adjust, and you keep moving forward. I would like to know your entrepreneurial mistakes, or if any of these resonate with you. But remember I said to you that I had something exciting I wanted to share. I'm definitely starting a membership program. Definitely, because I have a few people already signed up and I haven't advertised it. I haven't put it out anywhere. I've mentioned it on the podcast but mostly because people have sent me messages and asked me for mentoring. I believe that the biggest thing that stands between where you stand today and the life you want to live is not your circumstances, it's not the situation, but it's your mindset. People ask me all the time how I started my business and what did I do and so on and so forth. And honestly, I started with $75. I started with a lot of tears, a lot of uncertainty, a lot of mistakes. I've only shared 3 areas today. There are plenty. Maybe next week we'll continue. There are many mistakes I made along the way, but the single driver besides my God leading me was a shift in my mindset. And I still work on my mind today. I've got to, because the human mind is the most powerful machine known to man. It is in a state of evolution constantly. Who you were yesterday is not who you are today. And if you are not intentional about harnessing the power of your mind and shepherding your thoughts and also being responsible for your mindset, you're just going to go off on a tangent you had no business going off in. I promise you, that's exactly what happens. That is why many of us have intentions and plans and we work so hard, but we never arrive there. It's not because we are doing the wrong thing. It's not because the idea is not a good one or the business, whatever excuses we like to give ourselves. It's none of those. It's only because of the mind. Because for you to take action, you've got to think. And for you to think, you've got to know how to think. You've got to know what to think. And what you think is entirely dependent on what's around you, what you're feeding your mind with, as well as your mindset. I describe mindset as the layers that are calcified on the floor of your mind. And your thoughts now grow from those layers instead of growing from your mind. So there are decisions that we make that we think we are making, but we're not the ones responsible for it. We're not the ones deciding. It is the mindset we have that's making those decisions for you. And so I'm going to be opening an intimate mentoring membership where we'll meet every month and have some deep teaching on mindset, entrepreneurship, or faith, pretty much what living inside out is all about. And it's designed to challenge the way you think and remove those layers I talked about that are keeping you stuck, keeping you from thinking the way that you should. We'll also have live coaching in there where you'll get answers and clarity and direction. I used to run a group called the Saturday Club where we will meet every Saturday and list our challenges or our goals, and together we'll brainstorm, and each person walked away with a list of to-dos to move them to the next step the following Saturday. And the whole idea is nobody wanted to be the donut that came and said, oh, I didn't do anything. I haven't achieved anything. It really worked. And unfortunately, I had to close it down, or we stopped meeting because we just grew too big. It was a small group of people. And eventually we had to split into two because we end up being there for so long. And we just could not continue because it was designed to be small. Well, this is a similar sort of thing, but the difference is that there is a teaching on mindset and there is coaching as well. So again, a small group of people. I already have a few names, even though I haven't officially announced it yet. I think I've mentioned it a couple of times in passing on the podcast, but I hadn't yet fully grasped what the concept would be at the time, but now I do. And I'm so excited about it. So it's a space for conversations, real shifts and solutions as well, but also shifting the way that we think and then moving forward. Between sessions, you'll have touch points during the week to stay on track and also stay connected. If this sounds like something you've been looking for, let me know. We are keeping it affordable so that cost isn't a barrier. The real investment is in you. So drop me a line if you're interested, and I will share more details when we open for enrollment. Let's do this together. Thank you for listening. If you are yet to subscribe, you know what to do. Go ahead and subscribe, and please share this episode with your friends. Have a lovely one.